to some of your musical influences?
I get a lot of guitar tapping techniques from Dave Nuts and from Minus the Bear. I've listened to a lot of Godspeed You Black Emperor, Zeros, Explosions in the Sky, stuff like that.
It's almost over, it's just begun. Don't overthink this, look in my eye. Don't be scared, don't be shy, come on in, the water's...
Neat Nation, welcome back to the Droopy Whiskey Show.
Everyone, what is going on? It is Brian.
Neat Nation.
Everyone, what is going on? It is Brian. We are back.
Neat Nation, welcome back.
Everyone, what is going on? It is Brian.
Looks so good in time. Bow! What's up, Nation? Happy Thursday. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy March Madness, Nation.
If that's what you're into. I wish golf
Happy
had
March Madness to everybody in Neat Nation. It is time.
For what? just time in general?
To ball out. Which is not what I said the first time.
No. Yeah, for me, March Madness is just a signal that the Masters is next month. So I'm getting jacked for that, no doubt.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about St. Patrick's Day because it's a weird holiday. Like, it's kind of a bizarre, not that Christmas isn't weird, given the cultural, like the way that Christmas is celebrated on a cultural basis now. St. Patrick's Day, very, very similar in its weirdness. That's not similar in its subject matter, similar in its weirdness. And similar in the way, well, not similar, but weird in the way that it's celebrated today. It doesn't make sense as like an alcohol drinking holiday, put it that way, but I'm also fine with it. I mean, you got to roll with the times, I think.
Right.
Johnny Five, yeah, grow out that Cam Smith mullet. That dude looks like a mangy dog, or like since he's from Australia, the dingo kind of looks like a dingo, but he's a really good at golf. Really, really solid golfer. All right. We got a lot to
this
get
Kentucky
to.
game is way too close.
So who are they playing tonight?
They're playing St. Peter's as a 2-seed versus a 15 seed, and it's like 6 points difference in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's too close. They could lose.
It's embarrassing.
You get away from them. I did not eat
everyone's
dinner.
brackets.
Didn't eat dinner, so I just grabbed whatever leftovers were off the table. I came from a work event.
Oh, sweet. You're eating dinner too?
Yeah, so I got my kid's little tractor fork. As one does. But
Shout out to Tractor Forks.
Yeah, big tractor fork guy, no doubt.
Get some injury-proof branded tractor forks.
Yeah. Don't put it past me. Big merch guy as well. So we got some roasted broccoli here with some Alfredo. And then cheese stuffed tortellini. So
sweet.
Good.
I said chicken teriyaki on a stick, and now I'm good to go.
Where'd you get that? Was that like a
China One? We're China One. Number one China place. You know, China One.
Also called number one. Yeah. I love how they do that.
China1ky.com, dude.
It's like First Baptist Church, right? It's like they're always the first one.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Same thing.
Same basic concept.
You can get baptized at this China One too.
Dude, I'm all for multitasking. Like, I don't think there's enough multitaskers in the world. Unitaskers are just a waste of space.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, as I was telling Drew before the show, talking about multitasking, I rolled in. I finished in a Four Roses event, a tasting led by Brent Elliott, and got in my car. I parked specifically so that I could get immediately on the highway, like the on ramp, right? So I pulled out highway to pick up Chinese for my wife to skirt into the driveway to set up the computer. Here, I haven't even set my luggage down. I just landed Hopped at the plane at LAX with my dreams and my cardigan.
Hopped off the plane at LAX. Nice.
It's
I like
the
that.
lyrics are something tangential to that.
Did she say cardigan? Cardigan?
Isn't that what it is?
Cardigan?
Hopped at the plane.
LAX.
Hopped at the plane at LAX with my dream in a card. I think I had it right. With my dream in a cardigan. Hold on.
With
Fame
my dream
excess.
and a cardigan? I thought she was saying something about a car again.
Miley Cyrus, right? Cyrus.
Yeah.
Party in the USA lyrics. So I hopped off the plane at LAX with my dream and my cardigan. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know my
dream and a cardigan.
I know my girl Miley.
Yeah, but the way she sang it is like dream and a cardigan.
Well, it's a pop song. What did you think she's supposed to do about it? Just enunciate and like
cardigan.
Let it roll off
the
the tongue?
cardigan.
I hopped off the plane at LAX with my dream
and a cardigan.
Like that's not.
What was she trying to rhyme? What was the next line? Like what is she rhyming cardigan with?
Bill Elliott, Four Roses pick coming to Nathan. Johnny, I'm trying to figure out if you're asking. There's one of two things. Are you asking, is this pick going to be one that I review for the channel and give samples out? Or are you asking if I'm talking about picking a Four Roses pick for Neat Nation? Because I will tell you, it's not the latter.
Yeah.
In my jeans and a cardigan. Now I've got to open up the lyrics back up because
and a cardigan.
The jeans would make sense, but I didn't think that's what. I think it's a dream with my. Hold on. With a dream. No, it's with a dream in my cardigan. There's no. I mean, I'm sure she is wearing jeans. I would hope she's wearing jeans, but she is with a dream and a cardigan.
This is the best. Oh man. So Nation, put your hands up and smash that like button and let's get rolling. So you were eating Chinese.
Oh, they're playing my song. I think everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's Jay-Z. That Jay-Z song was on. She didn't enunciate at all.
We just lost all of our followers going into this.
Yeah, Cyrus, I think that's got to be an Irish name, right? No. Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I had to make it thematic for the evening.
Of course. All right. Well, let's talk about what we're drinking. Let's at least give the people what they came for. I'll start.
Oh gosh.
Okay. I'll start because I got a story. I'm upstairs getting ready to do this thing, and my wife is like, "It's St. Patrick's Day, so I can't wait to have a drink." I'm like, "I love you," and but I was live streaming, so she wanted a beer, so we just came down to my fridge, which I have a few beers in, and this one is a barrel-aged coffee stout that we had done a light roasted Peruvian. This is like 2 years ago, something. It's been in the fridge for a while, but it was brewed with like blackberries, I think, blueberries, vanilla beans, and this Peruvian coffee. And oh my gosh, it's fire. So it was barrel aged. Oh. Third Space Brewery right down the road from our factory. They do good work.
Oh, that's a cute name.
Third Space. Yeah. That's a cute name.
Yeah. Cute name.
It's this is awesome. Like it's a really fantastic blend of strong beer vibes. Coffee, the coffee is there, and then the fruit. So it's like this nice thick herby body, but it has some fruity acidity and plenty of sweetness, but just really balanced and delightful. It's my jam. And if I'm going to drink a stout, I want it to be like this and not carbonic. I have too many just like pure carbon stouts, and I do not like that. This is a juicy stout if you ever had one, which you probably have never had. This is the hipster stout.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah. Well, I've got an extra. So when you come up, we can pop another one because you're going to be here. Surprise. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
Surprise.
Nation.
I got to keep my voice down a little bit.
Brian.
Kristen always yells at me. She's like, it'll get to be like 10:30. She's like, Brian David, you are so loud.
Brian David Bikey. What are you drinking, Brian?
Nothing. I have.
Chicken.
I've got nothing. I've still got nothing to pour yet in my glass. Here's the deal, guys. I started drinking today. It's St. Patrick's Day. I started drinking today at like 6:30, and I have not stopped since I woke up. Now,
What were
granted,
you drinking at 6:30?
it was all coffee until about 7. But
7 a.m. or 7 p.m. Because it's now 9
Oh.
here.
yeah, 7 until 7 p.m. So I'm mainly mainly coffee actually. But I did go do a little pre-game drinking prior to the event. I just met up with some folks and had some pours. Tried the Angels Envy ice cider.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, super good.
Really?
Super good.
I would not. Have
Won't
I
go
would've
too.
been
Yeah,
against
me either. I wouldn't have expected anything from Angels Envy to be good. Anyway, so did that, and then they weren't big pours. I would say they're probably half-ounce pours at the Four Roses event over the course of an hour and a half. But again, I got right in here and I just haven't poured anything. I got glasses because I was like, I think Drew Itinerary wants to do a tasting, so I got everything set up. I was eating my chicken on a stick, and I just failed you, Drew. I haven't done anything yet.
fine.
Give me a
Totally
number
fine.
between 1 and 6.
3. I'm team 3.
Okay, that means that I am drinking this Stagg Jr. pick from Kroger.
Nice. Well, we're gonna do some Stagg Jr. stuff, so that's just great. That's swell.
I'll sip with a little bit. I'll just sip a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, I got a palate cleanse after this. This beer is delightful, but yeah, it's not gonna help me taste whiskey because it's so sweet. But maybe the fats from the tortellini will help clear out the fruits.
I think probably.
Yeah. It'll cover it up. Now, can I taste after the tortellini? I don't think that'll impede either. Like, it's not spicy. It's mellow, but it's fatty. All right. So I'm still on the buying freeze. I did do some shopping. Shout out Nation. Sorry we didn't stream last week. That was because I was in Arizona on vacation, which was amazing. It's fantastic. We can talk about my golf later. I did do some shopping. Oh, I take it back. I did buy some, but I didn't buy. I don't think I have it down here. I just bought for the trip. I had taken some samples in my handy dandy aged in ore sample thing, which I left up there, which that was really convenient. And then I bought some Buffalo Trace minis because my father-in-law decided he wanted to drink my whiskey, which was fine. I have no problem with that. I just wasn't planning on it. So we went to Total Wine and they had Buffalo Trace minis. Guess how much these Buffalo Trace minis were per unit?
$15.
$2 or $2, like a little 2-ounce, little 50 milliliter mini, $2 per. So I bought 5 of them, and that's what we drank. I have one left. But I did pass on Sam Houston 15 again, Calumet 15 again. I might have sprung for one of those if I was buying, but I'm trying to be disciplined. There was Smoke Wagon small batch there, which if it was uncut unfiltered, I wanted backup of the uncut unfiltered, so I would have been tempted there, but I did not see that. There was something else interesting that I passed on that I was like, yeah, wow. But yeah, I held tough. I held true. I stayed committed, dedicated to what I'm doing. But then I came home to a bottle, which that was nice. So I bought this a while ago, but Brian just got it in the mail. I think this one is it. Yes, Commonwealth of Kentucky. OBSV 9-year, 4-month pick. So shout out Brian for helping me procure that.
You have to let me know if it's good.
That was before I went on the pause.
What is that one again? What's the stats on that one?
4-year, 9-month. OBSV or
4-year?
No, sorry, my bad. 9-year, 4-month OBSV, Kentucky Hospitality Select. I don't know what that means. Barrel number 1, tier 2.
What's the spec? What's the warehouse stuff?
SN 862D.
Okay.
So yeah, it seems like I just end up with picks that are low tiers. So, but I mean, I still like them. Tom Lynch says Calumet 15 for 130 verdict. I mean, Calumet 15 was good, but Tom, I messaged you about it and said it's 100 in Arizona, and you said pass. So Yeah, I mean, which was a good deal. That was by far the cheapest I'd seen it, which is why I was tempted to get that. The Sam Houston was the 130, which is kind of what I expect to see it for. But we actually have shout out Dan Barber, who's sponsoring content tonight. He sent us a sample of. Isn't that what he sent? Sam Houston 15. Yeah,
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, so he sent us Sam Houston, Texas batch, Sam Houston 15.
Oh, right.
Yep. So I actually had a little taste of that, and at some point I will revisit it on a live because that's what I do when somebody sends samples. He also sent us Joseph Magnus triple cask, which I had this before, but I didn't remember it too much. So, and then we have what we'll be doing a little work on tonight: E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof 2021 versus Stagg Jr. Batch 15. Which is better? Why?
Dude, I'm so distracted by how terrible the Cats are playing right now.
The Cavs?
I'm going to pull out. I'm going to pull up. This Stag is, it's setting me up for this tasting.
Okay, cool. And then, so we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. First, we're going to do bourbons for St. Patrick's Day. Then we're going to do these Stagg Jr. E.H. Taylor. And then we've got another blind from our boy, Porkins. He's in the chat. You know him. You love him. And this one is a little bit same kind of deal where it's a collaborative tasting. You each have 5 samples. They're all bourbon. Only one of these samples is from a legacy distillery, a la Beam, Heaven Hill, Wild Turkey, MGP, etc. The other 4 are from craft non-legacy distilleries. You have the same samples, but your order is different. You have 2 jobs. Identify the matches and figure out which whiskey is from a traditional distillery. So we have to try and match it up and pick the legacy one, which if you watched 2 weeks ago when we did this adventure from Porkins, it was fun. We did not do well. So hopefully this week we get it back on track. We'll get to that though. Brian, what bottles or bottle, maybe you want to give us a highlight, anything you picked up over the last couple of weeks that you want to share with the nation?
Yeah. Great cue. I don't remember what I last picked up. I will talk about today. So today I did manage to get another spoiler. What else would I get? Roses from this Fraser event tonight.
Nice.
And then Drew, you might find this kind of funny. But I walked into the cafe today and somebody said, "Oh, this guy stopped in. He was just like, 'Hey, you guys are cool.'" And he said, "And I left you a bottle," and he just left a bottle of bourbon. I'm like, did he leave it for me? Did he just leave it? Like, what was it? You want to know why I asked that question? Look at what this bottle is.
What is that?
It's a rare character. It's Pablo's bottle. That guy who was just like drunk out of his mind.
Oh, that guy.
Just leaving all these bottles everywhere. And I've been seeing his bottles popping up everywhere.
Huh.
So I walked into Quill's. I'm like, what does this bottle do? He's like, this guy was just like, "Hey, you guys are really cool. Here's this bottle." I'm like, well, certainly I'm just taking it. Right. So anyway, I got, it's a High Times pick. It's a High Times. Someone just randomly left us a High Times pick. Like,
what is High Times?
So random. It's a store, I'm pretty sure, out in California. So I don't know if Pablo was in himself, or like I don't even know. So that, and then those roses, and yeah, that's probably it.
At least we'll keep it to that tonight for the sake of the people. Yep. Sweet. Well, I mentioned you're coming up to Wisconsin, so finally on the books, April 2nd, 10:30 in the morning. We are doing a Driftless Glen pick, at least one barrel, and we'll see. It'd be really fun to pull a bourbon and a rye. I did invite Blake to come along. He didn't text me back. I texted him today. We'll see. It's a bit of a journey to come from Florida all the way up to Wisconsin, but it should be fun. The bloke at Driftless, I want to say Justin is his name, but I am awful with names. Hold on just a second. Yes, it's Justin.
There
So,
we go.
yeah. So we have mutual friends, and he's been very accommodating, and I think it will be a very swell time and bring very swell whiskey.
What's our? I mean, do we have room for more, or is it like capped right now? Like, should
More
I
than
bring someone up
2?
with me?
Oh, you mean in terms of people?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna stay in my house, so there's that part of it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It's a good point.
But we can talk offline. There's the Wisconsin, which we run deep. Nation runs deep in Wisconsin, so at least one guy I owe a pick because he wasn't able to join us at Dancing Goat. So that's Ricky. He's on Patreon. Patreon supporter, good friend of mine. He's actually got into whiskey when I got into it back in the Dizzle, like
Guaranteed, Tom. Guaranteed.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun. The Middle West pick is in Washington D.C. and I texted Blake today to see if he had been able to get it from the distributor. So it's just like everything takes longer with this particular bottle. It's gonna be worth it.
Super annoying.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ready for it.
Well, let's talk about. I'm going to pour some bourbon now and work on just palate cleansing here for a little bit before we get into these. I'll probably pour something Buffalo Trace too to help me get in the mood.
Dude, this So I opened this Kroger. Do we talk? I mean, have I picked up this Kroger pick since we recently talked?
No, I think you got it right before we streamed 2 weeks ago, and you told us all
Okay.
about it. You rubbed it in our faces.
So it's been open since then, and it is. You know me, I don't try a ton of Staggs, but man, that's good. Man, that's good.
I believe you.
That's good. Here for it.
So I got Stagg 14. I'm going to taste that with Stagg 15 up against this E.H. Taylor barrel proof from 2021. Oh my gosh, I just spit a little bit. All right, let's talk about St. Patrick's Day being for bourbon. What bourbons are your St. Patrick's Day picks? Okay, Nation, I want to see what you guys are drinking. I'm sure you sounded off on that before, but now I want to see you tell me again. What are you guys picking to pull for St. Patrick's Day? I view St. Patrick's Day a certain way when it comes to bourbon, meaning that it's not like one of those holidays where I bring out my heavy hitters that I really want to, get the best possible pour I can. Because St. Patrick's Day is more about like, oh yeah, fun, mix it, drink it, whatever, and less of a sit and ponder, more of like a social banger, if you will. Tight Cuts, the Elijah Craig 18 single barrel I have is bottled June 11th, 2019. It's barrel 4600. So anyway, my picks are not like, oh, let's go full on. I mean, we're sipping Stagg Jr. tonight, but if it was me, just shooting from the hip, the first bourbon I'd shout out is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It's like one that I'll always go to in default, which that one's a fun one to drink. I don't feel bad drinking it because I have a lot of it. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm well stocked on the Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs. And fun fact, Heaven Hill's master distiller now, Connor O'Driscoll, he's Irish. He's a bloke. I think blokes are actually British, but bloke is the word of the day for me. I'm just trying to use it as many times as I can. And he's Irish, so I'm going to use that as an excuse to drink a Heaven Hill product. And Elijah Craig Barrel Proof does it for me. Let's see what you guys are drinking. Robert D is dropping JMO 18. I almost never go for Irish whiskey. I just don't like it. It's just hella mellow. It's like scotch that's not aged in exotic casks. Delta Foxtrot whiskey, Redbreast. Which Redbreast are you drinking? The 12 cask? Because that's actually pretty good. Tight Cuts is drinking the St. Patrick's Day edition of the Kentucky Owl.
That's that is something to drink.
What? It's just confiscated in a green bottle, right? Is that what that is?
I don't actually know, but I would assume.
Yeah. I don't know either. Peter Braddock is sipping on Connemara, which is also an Irish whiskey. A lot of Irish. You guys just went for Irish whiskey. See, it's hard for me to cheat on bourbon. Like, St. Patrick's Day is not a good enough reason for me to drink Irish whiskey because I love bourbon so much. And if there was a whiskey I was going to make fun of that I was going to roast, it'd probably be Irish whiskey. Not to say there aren't good ones, but it just feels like whiskey that's trying to be as non-whiskey as possible in my mind. But anyway, my first pick for the day in terms of bourbons for St. Patrick's Day, which is the topic, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I'm batch agnostic. You have the floor. Hit us with your pick and give us your reflections on what to drink for St. Patrick's Day too. Because I mentioned I started with a beer too, and I came from an event where I had a cocktail, a Jameson cocktail actually. So yeah, I've been all over the place.
I don't really think about, I don't drink Irish whiskey, not because I have an aversion to it. It's just I don't go out and buy it. So that's not my thing. So I just drink whatever. But if I were getting in the festive mood, I have two things that I would mention in line with what you had first mentioned. But my first would be the new Bardstown Bourbon Company Founders Brewing KBS Stout finish. Now, we are not talking about Guinness, but I'm mentioning this because when I think of St. Patrick's Day, I think of drinking stouts. And so I go to stout finished whiskeys. I'll go ahead and say my second one too, because it's 2-in-1. I don't have the BBC stout finished ones. The one I do have is I think I've showed it to you before, but I don't have the bottle immediately available. And for some reason, it's escaped my mind. It's the Big Red Liquors pick that they did, the batch 2. There was a stout finished MGP barrel. And that's what, I would, if I had time to go downstairs right now, that's what I would be sipping on tonight.
Nice.
So,
Porkins, that's a good point about Irish whiskey. It's really low proof, generally speaking. A friend of mine, he went on his honeymoon, he and his wife, his wife is also a friend. So the friends of mine, they just had a baby, shout out the Patchett's. For their honeymoon, like 6 years ago or something, they went to Ireland and they went to the JMO Visitor Center, and there you can, bottle your own whiskey from the barrel ish, and it's cask strength. And he let me have some of it. Given that it was his honeymoon whiskey, naturally we called it his sex whiskey, and it was very good. I enjoyed it. Interesting, and just a lot more complex than your standard 80 proof Jameson, which is like sugar and alcohol. That's what it tastes like. So somebody might give me grief for saying there's sugar in whiskey again. That was a fun comment. Anyway. So yeah, wow, Robert, thanks, man. That's really generous of you.
Cheers,
Shout out Robert for supporting that content. Swell dude. All right, so back to my pick. Brian, I like your stout finished shout out there. I think that's an interesting play for sure. But I'm just gonna keep it with my playful bourbons. I mentioned Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Second one I'm going to go with is just Rare Breed, because that's one that I think makes a killer either old fashioned or Manhattan, either one. It bats for both teams, as they say, and also killer straight. And I never feel bad sharing it. It's an amazing party whiskey. Like, you want to show up to a party and be a hero for bringing good bourbon, but you spent $45 on it. You've got 8 of them. I don't have 8. I don't keep any, but it's on the shelf, and thankfully it's back on the shelf in my neck of the woods. So it seems like we got a new shipment in Wisconsin. So shout out local distributors. Rare Breed would be my next pick. Killer party bourbon. Maybe that should be the video. It's like a list video. We can make list videos about party bourbons, which ones to take to a party. I'm gonna write that down. That's a good idea. That's at the top of that list for sure. You have the floor.
Yeah, I mean, again, anything else other than that, I don't have any other recommendations. Unless I started tapping into like similar to the Kentucky Owl, which is specifically branded for like St. Patrick's Day. Anything else would be like leaning towards ryes that are all branded green.
They're green. Yeah, no, for me, it's more about the theme. That Bardstown KBS Founders, I have not seen that on the shelf. Passed on Disco 7 here locally. I did stop at a liquor store because I can't not. Passed on Disco 7 because it was $160. Disco 7, $160 here in Wisconsin at a grocery store that normally has good price. So that's not great at all. Deeply frustrating. I got to write down this party bourbon idea. Party bourbons. Bourbons you're okay drinking out of a Dixie cup. Hashtag. But it's still good, right? I mean, because we don't want to drink bad bourbon. Life's too short to drink crappy bourbon. Good shirt idea. Gonna write that down. Life too short to drink.
It's not about the whiskey. It's about the cup that you share it in. Right? Is that your new motto?
I mean, we could make a fun video about that. Sharing a whiskey glass. I think there are a lot of parodies you could do. We were talking before we went live. Apparently, there's some channel starting that's roasting. Like it's dedicated to roasting people in whiskey, which I'm sure will be entertaining for an innocent.
I think that's a little inferred. I don't know that the channel.
I haven't actually looked into it.
People in whiskey.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there, but could be interesting. Watch this space. Further developments. All right, next up. I'm going to go Four Roses single barrel. Because, again, killer party bourbon. Sweet, fruity, crushable. If somebody's going to dump it into the punch bowl, it's okay. It might make a really interesting pairing with like a mint chocolate chip ice cream. Given that it might have a little minty essence of its on its own already. What's so funny?
It's not about the whiskey. It's about the cardigan you wear while drinking it. If that ain't the sentiment of the night.
Yeah, nice. The night is very young. Very, very young.
It's about the dreams you have while wearing your cardigan and drinking it. Anyway, that's actually worse. Anyway.
You're spiraling now. All right, I'm going to throw one other one.
I'm depressed, dude.
Why? You're caught up on this basketball game? We're not
40 seconds left and the Cats down by 3. They're going to whiff it, dude. They had these guys winning it all.
On ESPN. Like, ESPN is going to be the biggest upset. I mean, someone's got to be
it will be the biggest upset. I mean, I should have expected it. So
a 2 seed and a 15 seed, that's what we're talking about here?
I should have expected it.
Why?
Just should have expected as a Cats family. I'm just set up for disappointment.
The Cats from who? Where?
Kentucky Wildcats, dude. Get your head in the game. Oh, what a nincompoop.
I don't follow college anything. I especially don't really follow basketball. I was aware the Bucks won the finals last year, but I didn't watch a single Bucks game, and they're in my backyard. So it's just not really for me. I watch an inordinate amount of golf. Generally when you think of a men's man, machismo, things that regular dudes like, that's not me. I do own some guns though. I mean, for the record, but I would happily give them up if they became illegal. So I'm that kind of gun owner. I'd be like, all right, that's fine. I don't need them. I don't use them. So yeah. Anyway, but bourbon though, that would be the one exception. Bourbon is feels like a manly drink, and I'm all about that. And let me also be clear, lest anybody be offended, not knocking manly things. Big fan of it. Grunting, farting, burping. I'm here for all that stuff. Okay, well, let's move on. I do have one other tangential, which is a good fun word. I think you used that earlier. Tangential question related to St. Patrick's Day festivities. Are there any cocktails or are there any beers? You mentioned stouts, but is there anything else you'd be like quick to reach for on St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, dude, man, I was saying this to my boss earlier today. I'm mainly around this holiday would be a beer drinker. So when I lived in Cincinnati. And that was mainly an English pub that we went to, but we in Cincinnati, there's a ton of places where you can go and do early morning St. Patrick's Day celebration. So I'd go places for kegs and eggs. I'd go places that do like green eggs and ham or wherever. There's a whole bunch of places that will do a myriad of things. Traditional Irish breakfast or again, green eggs and ham. They'd be t-shirts or free stuff for the first however many people, whatever. But, you know, doing layered beers of the different Irish beers, that's like a regular thing I would drink. So with it, whether it's like Guinness layered over Harp or vice versa, whether it's Smittix and Guinness.
When you say
yeah. So
okay.
So they would do things. They'd have different names for them, and it's like Smittix and Harp, or it's Harp and Guinness, or it's Guinness and Smittix, or Killian's, and you know that was my hidden drink. Right, it was called the 4-leaf clover, which was Guinness, Harp, Killian's, and Smittix. And it'd be called the 4-leaf clover. So that's just that's just it, man. You don't have to get too novel with the green stuff. That's just what I'd go for. It's just a beer drinking holiday. I mean, I was in Ireland before, years and years and years ago, during St. Patrick's Day. It was incredibly cold and very little beer was consumed. It was just a parade. And I got a beanie that I wore in my video where I talked about Russell's Reserve. And everyone's like, what's that stupid thing on your head, you stupid hipster? Got it while I was in Ireland for St. Patrick's Day. So
suck it. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, couple questions here. OC Bourbon Bar says he's late. St. Patrick's Day is for bourbon. Tell me you have at least one Irish whiskey you plan to enjoy. I do not own an Irish whiskey. I've already spent time in this thread or in this stream kind of crapping on Irish whiskey. Not to be offensive, it's just not for me. And then Tight Cuts hits you with a question here, Brian, which I stayed up for almost all of this, but I just couldn't. I couldn't anymore. Did you move forward on Matt Madness?
I did not. So it was, you know, Matt Madness is an interesting thing. Anyone who I think caught the story initially, you know that all three of us did not get our samples the first time. So we all did the show.
Hours.
We all did the show anyway, kind of as a joke, not knowing that everyone did not get the samples. The next one that we did was, we lost this game. Well, the next one that we did was at part of a double header. So at 11:30 my time is when we started, and I had a long day. I was exhausted. I was ready to call it, but we had to do the thing anyway. So we did it, and it went until like after 1 o'clock. Yeah, it was exhausting. I think if you went back and watched it, you'd probably like see me like slowly.
No, yeah, 100%. You're just like hanging on for dear life.
And the thing that's tricky about it too a little bit is, you know, they ask questions on nosing, and they ask questions on the palate. And so you basically have to decide when it comes to points, are you committing to what you're initially thinking the first time, or are you going to say something different? So when it came to my assumptions on the nose questions, then I just continued on with it, where other people I think would probably play the game and they would try and score most diversely, right? Which is fine. You know, I like tasting things and kind of dissecting things. And when you have a plethora, when you have a
look who it is, the man.
What's up, man? When you have a plethora of things to choose from, you just get in your own head about what things are.
Yeah.
So, you know, I anchored for the first sample because of watching the first half of the stream. Matt put like 2 of his picks in, and I knew that he had this ADHD Nulu rye coming out. And so I was like, it showed, one of these samples showed signs of something I remembered from the Nulu toaster rye that we did, or that I did. And so I just went all in on that because of the inference that, you know, maybe he would do that. And then other things I just kind of got in my head too. Like there was one I tasted that I knew was clearly Dickel, but I assumed it had to have been a Bardstown Bourbon Company product. And so I'm like, well, it tastes pretty old, but like no, Bardstown Bourbon Company doesn't do any exclusive Dickel things that are that old. So I got to play a safe age. And if I would have, if I would have guessed more like what I wanted to, I would have gotten some age points. It would have helped. So, there's all these types of things. It was interesting. I came in second, but what can you do?
Yeah. So people love Matt's madness.
Oh yeah,
streams for sure, and we're just getting started in this. So I was bummed to see you drop out, but I couldn't make it through. Like you said, the doubleheader was that it just went late. It was really hard to get through because I was toasted. And I think we had 1 day left of vacay. So and we had like gone hiking that morning or something. And I had come in because I didn't know. I knew it was a doubleheader, but I didn't know when you guys were going. So I came in with like an hour left on the previous one and tried to muscle it out. And I made it to the very end. Like, I think you guys were scoring, but I was just wasted, not alcohol involved. But correct me if I'm wrong here. Is Grease just getting a pass to the final? So like he
I don't actually know.
Okay. Well, Matt could sound us off, but that sounds not fair. But Matt can clarify. I mean, if you won, that's cool. You have the belt. Like, I feel like you should have to like go through the whole thing, but it's not my thing. So, like, obviously, I should have zero say. We do need to shout out one other thing, though. If you didn't watch the stream, it's worth going back and watching the one with Brian, because the Shelf Turds, aka the whiskeychannel.com channel on YouTube, they put in some effort on those tunes. Like, they did parodies of popular jams. And my goodness, very, very entertaining. And I was surprised for a stream that I wasn't in. My name was dropped a lot because of the way those songs were written, kind of making fun of Brian, or not making fun, but jabbing Brian a little bit. But so shout out to those guys, because it was just generally a lot of fun. All right, let's move on, shall we? Shall we do this Stagg Jr. tasting? Again, this next bit is sponsored by Dan Barber, and it's sponsored in the form of delivering whiskeys to us. So if you want to sponsor anything, you can send us samples, and generally we'll include it either in a video we make, like one that drops on Monday mornings from me or Tuesdays from Brian, or we'll do tastings and games on Thursday nights. Oh, Porkins dropping some info here. I did a randomizer wheel to determine at what point in the tournament the champion would begin and landed on the final. Well, Matt, I don't know if you could do it a much better way. So randomizers, it is what it is, right? At that point, you're like, listen, I randomized it. What do you want from me? I just did the thing, and it told me. Yeah, I think that's all you can do. So now it makes sense. Porkins says there was a wheel. Yep. Thanks, Porkins just knows everything. I mean, he's like the deity.
He really does.
YouTube, like a remarkable human being. Andrew Surfling, thanks a lot for the super chat. Bummer, seems like he's gloating a little bit, but at least he dropped a $5 on it. So dude, shout out to the $5. Okay, you ready to pour? You've got your whiskeys ready, Brian?
I'm not, but I'll get started. We're doing Dan's, right?
That's right. Yeah. So we're going to start with the Stagg Jr. and EH Taylor. And I think you should pour some of your Stagg single barrel too as we do this assessment.
Drew, I'm heartbroken, man.
I'm sorry, dude. I know.
I'm heartbroken right now.
One of the reasons
you're catching emotions.
I don't get into team sports
live on video right now.
I used to get really into team sports, but then the Texas Rangers lost the World
Basically,
Series.
Drew, do you remember when the girl that you loved broke up with you?
Yeah, I do remember. That was the only girlfriend I had before my wife, actually.
Yeah, well, after she started dating me, the way that I felt after she broke up with me, that's how I feel right now.
What? Sorry, that wasn't super clear. You mean the girl I was dating, and then she started dating?
I mean, the cats suck. Gosh, why do I even follow basketball? Why do I even do this to myself? I can't get into the stupid box. What a horrible night. What a horrible night. He really did. This is super secure. There's tape literally preventing anything from being open right now.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pour a little bit of our Middle West pick against these guys too.
Why would you do that?
Because we said it was E.H. Taylor killer. That was what we said it was supposed to be.
Oh, that's what you said, because I have not tried this in a year.
It was July, right? When we picked that whiskey. So this one I've got.
Are we? Remind me again. I'm sorry. I'm so lost in mind right now. Are we tasting all of these, or just the Stagg and E.H. Taylor? Or?
Just the Stagg and the E.H. Taylor. The goal is, Brian, which one is better, Stagg 15 or E.H. Taylor?
I know that, I saw that, but I'm trying to make sure that we're not pouring all 4 of these samples and then also doing a blind after I've been drinking all day. Remember, I told you I've been drinking all day, Drew. I mean, mostly coffee, but I have been drinking.
You just have to assess. You don't have to drink these. You don't have to chug these. I feel like
I'm excited for that one right there, and I'm excited for that. Okay,
now I'm going to mix these up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and taste these as blind as possible. I've got my little tasting set here, which allows me to do this. Now they're
Johnny 5. He really is. It's interesting with Drew. I never realized that you could, like, I'm used to going through a barrel pick, and like you pick it, and it's like, okay, that's done deal. And Drew rolled out the gate when we started entry proof, never having done a barrel pick, and somehow it has been able to convince people that he needs to be sent proof bottles to have a final confirmation, as if we would actually have the ability to reject it, which I'm pretty sure is not possible. And he's been able to get these from Dancing Goat and now also Midwest. And it's like, can you please send me a confirmation bottle so I can confirm what we confirmed? And he has gotten it. So he's the only one who's able to drink this pick that we supposedly had, that no one else thinks that we actually have done, because there's no proof. And there's still, and what he said at the beginning of the show is that there's still no proof. So we've got no proof this pick exists except for Drew's bottle that he coursed out of them.
I have an email thread that shows it's in Washington, D.C. between the distributor and Blake. So it does exist. And let me give you a little bit of a background here. Peyton, I do have an inordinate amount of confidence, too much for any one human being. But what happened was, with the Dancing Goat one, it was, bear with me here. Hey, hang tough. Dancing Goat, it was the Spaniard, which I tasted there, and it wasn't available to us, right? And so then he's like, oh, it's available now. And I'm like, send us samples so Brian can taste it. I'll taste it with Brian. So he sent us full bottles. I'm like, well, that was just freaking dope. Middle West, we picked the barrel in July, and then there was a bottling delay because of a glass shortage. So it wasn't bottled until like October. I'm like, Rudra, I just want to taste this before we pick it. Can you send me a sample of it? But they had bottled it. And instead of opening a bottle and keeping some for himself, he sent me a full bottle. So I asked for a confirmation sample, and that sample happened to be a full bottle.
Rudra, could you just please send me a confirmation barrel so that I know that this barrel is the right barrel? If you could just please, like, I need this barrel. I need you to dump all the bottles back into the barrel. Send it to me so I can have proof that this is actually the same. And then once I have confirmed it, please take it back. Please arrange for pickup. Take it back, bottle it again, and then send me a confirmation that it's still the same.
I feel like you're all over the place. So what I did here, whoa, crap. I have 4 samples here. I have randomized them, and I've marked the bottles with what's marked on the glass, but I don't remember what's what. Okay.
Oh, so that's smart. I should have done that.
What I have is 2 Stagg Juniors, batch 14 and 15. 14 I own, 15 was sent to us. Shout out Dan Barber. And I put the Middle West Spirits pick in here and the E.H. Taylor barrel proof. And now I'm going to try and rank these.
Marker or something.
Yeah, I'm going to rank them. So that's what I'm going to do. And Brian, you do whatever the heck you want. But at the end of this, we're going to come back and try and say which one was better, the Stagg Jr. or the E.H. Taylor. So glass on my right, which is glass A. Smells delightful, as they all do. Maybe I'll spare you guys the big. No, what I'll do is I'll nose them quickly, pick the winner on the nose, and then I'll taste them, pick the winner.
He really does. He really does. He
So
really does.
So in coffee, like when you're buying coffee, if you contract, to
It's
buy
exactly
coffee,
like
you are sent a confirmation sample to be like,
Yeah.
taste it and approve it or disapprove of it. Why wouldn't bourbon be the same?
That's exactly what I thought of. I was like, dude, you could tell he's a coffee boy because he's asking for confirmation samples.
Okay.
Oh, what a monster. What a monster. Drew orders a new small cardigan from H&M and then asks for the person who made it to send a picture of himself also wearing the cardigan.
I need your dimensions too. Like dimensions are a big deal when you're buying clothes online. Jeepers.
Oh my gosh.
The noses are all very similar, actually.
All right, so here's the wrong thing because you have a bunch of random stuff. I'm gonna have a bunch of random stuff, and then we'll have to reveal it at the end. So we're just gonna aimlessly talk, and it's not gonna match up like in our other tasting, and then we'll have to figure it out in the end.
So how many samples do you have? And let's rank them, and then we'll reveal.
Well, I've got 3 glasses of whiskey and 1 of my tears from the cats losing. So I've got 4 samples, only 3 that I'm drinking.
Okay,
so.
Great. So I want you to rank those 3, which one you like best, and then we'll just reveal at the end. And I'm going to rank my 4, and then we'll reveal. Okay.
I'll say the show is not sponsored by Aquafina. The Aquafina water sucks. So I dumped it out and I poured tap water into it. Okay. Are you getting started?
Yeah, but Porkins has a really good question here. Do you find the noses muted on the aged Genor glasses? I always find them muted compared to a Glen. I do. These tasters are really great for tasting blind.
Cuts I've been drinking all day, man.
But I do find that the nose is muted. It is much harder to discern. And it's kind of bizarre. Like, it's a friggin' tulip shape. Why is it so different? It is. I don't know. It's crazy. Tom hates Aquafina. What's the deal with Aquafina?
It sucks, dude. It sucks. It sucks. Like, there's nothing else to it. All right, I'm trying to get my mic in the way so I don't see which one of these is labeled.
Sample
not labeled, but one of these is colored.
Sample A could very well be the Middle West pick. It's very good. It's sweet. It's rich, but it's spunky. It's spunky. So sample B, it's got a great nose though, killer nose and fruity.
You go through the nose, and then I'll go through the nose, and then you go through the palate, and I'll go through the palate, and then we'll rank.
Whoa. Okay. Well, I'm already tasting, but we're just sample 2. Your sample B is like grape soda, and it's a hitter. It's got more oak than sample A. Sample A's got good brown sugar for sure, but sample B was like, it turned the volume up substantially. It's got a lot of sweet oak against the brown sugar. It's drying though. So I love sample A. Sample B is a little hotter, a little oakier, a little deeper, but it's also a little bit more dry on the finish. Yeah, and the noses all smell the same at this point. Ah, man, that one was tongue numbing. Brian, we lost you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back on. We back, right?
Yeah, I see him. Okay. While we taste, I have to give a shout out to a movie we watched with Ryan Reynolds movie. I think it's Free Guy. I think that's what it was called. Really entertaining, smart, funny movie. So family friendly too, except I think they say there's some language, so it depends, do you, but really fun movie. So watch that on vacation. C is creamy and sweet, caramely on the edge of brown sugar, oak, but not drying. C's I think C's the winner so far. I'm gonna get back through all these, but C is an immediate like, oh yeah, that one hits. Do a little water palate cleanse. So yeah, I'll just go through all these, Brian. Then I'll do my reveal, and then we'll do yours. That way, people can kind of hang with it. I'm just feel like that's gonna be easiest for people to follow.
It's all good.
D is very comparable, and maybe a little bit more buttercreamy, which you guys know that's my quintessence. That's the bourbon note that I get most jacked for. So now I'm going to go in reverse, but yikes, D was pretty good. Maybe not as fruity as some. Just plainly good. These all hurt, though. There's a lot of tongue pain happening to me right now. Plenty of heat. Yeah, so D is a little bit more buttercreamy, just a touch more sweet oak. C is nice. It's viscous. It's caramely. But I'm going to give the edge to buttercream here so far. Go back to B. B is the most oaky for sure. If I had to guess which one was the oldest, tongue's on fire. Whew. I'd say it was B, but man, it's dry. It's really dry. It's not packing much more than just oak and heat. It's hot as balls. All right, A. Yeah, I think A is Middle West. It's fruity, it's sweet, it's got enough oak. It's not quite at the level. It's really good, but it's not quite at the level of C and D, but I think it beats B pretty handily. It's more drinkable, it's sweeter. It's not quite as oaky, but it's not nearly as dry either. And B was pretty dry. All right, cool. Is that adequate enough description? Do you have any should I fill in any blanks or so the final ranking was D. Well, let me do C and A side by side. Big grape on it. Like that grape note.
Ty cuts in the virtual hugs. He sees me in a state of depression.
I think you could go either way. I think I'm going to give it though to C. So D number 1, C number 2, A number 3, and all those were really good. And then B number 4, and that one just wasn't hitting it for me tonight. Okay. Oh, okay. I was so A, which was number. Well, this is fun. A is number 3, so ranked number 3, and it is E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof 2021. Like that one a lot. I thought that one was the Middle West one. B was Stagg Jr. Batch 15. C is Middle West. So that one was the number 2. And D was Stagg Jr. Batch 14. That was the one I liked the best, which has been open for a while. And I'm going to, now with full awareness of what these are, I'm going to revisit and just be like, would I change it? But that was my blind tasting.
So I was trying to follow that, but just for the record, you picked E.H. Taylor over Stagg Batch 15.
Yes. So, out of these two samples, I did pick E.H.
Third
Taylor
and fourth place.
That's correct. Yeah, third and fourth place in this blind, but I did take E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof today over Stagg Jr. Batch 15 because I think my impression of Stagg Jr. Batch 15 was crazy hot. Oaky for sure. Like I thought it was the oldest whiskey on this lineup here, but really dry finish too. Like really hard for me to discern flavors. All right. Tom's giving me crap. But I'm very thrilled that in a blind, the Middle West held up and took number two. And it bats way above its age.
Spoiler alert, the thing that we talked about doing today, our Middle West pick is actually better than either of them, so it doesn't matter.
Suck it.
Buy it. Okay, so I don't have the pick because it doesn't exist. That Drew is tasting. So for the record, just so I can clearly lay out the guidelines for this, I have in random order glasses below that include the Stagg Jr. Batch 15, the 2021 E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof, and my juniorless Kroger pick of Stagg. Okay, so I'm going to try and speed through. Drew trying to get Brian drunk. It's no pain felt. Oh, I wish. Okay, so I'm gonna try and speed through on the nose. I'll go through on the palate, and then we're going to try and go. Okay, so here we go. Smells like green apple candy and a little bit of oak, a little bit of honey, a little bit of cherry. Smells like Buffalo Trace product. Go figure. All three of these are. Let's go to the next one. Oh, okay. That one's a little bit more saturated fruits. It's a little bit more it's a little bit juicier, but no less of that like apple apricot kind of nice sweet fruit. Huh. That's good. A little bit more brown sugar. It stings a little bit more in the nose than A does. A's kind of elegant, kind of clean, but it doesn't burn. B, a little bit more heat to it. A little bit more saturated version of what is in A. Let's go to C. C is the most muted on the nose on this first pass. C's got a little bit more like burnt toast kind of notes to the kind of pocket of flavors that everything else has. It's a little less going on than A, honestly. But there's some brown sugar. There's a little bit of smoke, which is kind of interesting. That's kind of like a toasted quality, some brown sugar, some overcooked caramel notes. Man, that's interesting. Even though it's a little more subdued than A, I'd probably say B wins the nose, C takes second, A takes third. Let's go ahead and taste. Oh, it's hot. Like you said, you kind of get some mintiness. You get some, what is that? That green apple, a little cinnamon. Man, not a lot else. It's hot. It's like, it's hot and kind of tastes thin. There's not a lot to it. It's just heat and spice. Let me get to the other two because we'll get some palate acclimation. Then we'll kind of revisit. Number two. Oh, that's good. Two is much like the palate. It soaks a little bit more. It's like got some gooey brown sugar like notes. It's a little bit more desserty, but it's not overly desserty because it still has like the green apple, the kind of fresh, bright notes to it. Oak for sure. Pretty tasty. Still has some good baking spice. Honeys, caramels, the typical Buffalo Trace stuff. Better than A for sure. Let me go back to A real quick before I go to C.
Shout out while you do that. Shout out Tommy J for the $10 super chat. Generous peeps in the chat tonight. Thank you guys.
Yeah, A is just thinner. It's spicier. It's more like cinnamon stick. It's more like cinnamon candy, if you will. Not in a red hot sort of way, like cinnamon candy, like a cinnamon hard candy or something. Anyway, let's go to C. B's the clear favorite of them so far.
Team B. All right.
Team B. Seems lower proof, much more drinkable. Interesting. Kind of a little saltier. It's More balanced in flavor. It's got a little mintiness to it. It's got a little saltiness to it. Like I keep wanting to say it's more pickly, but it doesn't quite taste like pickles. I guess it does have like a slightly pickly kind of rye taste to it. But it's just more salty than the other two. It's, I mean, you know what salt does, right? It's got a lifted, saltier flavor than the other two. It more balanced, but there's more. It's definitely more going on than A. I'm going to go ahead and say A is probably my third place. This third sample is a little quirky. It seems like, and I don't know if it's because it's sample jar, if it's profile, it's got the kind of it's got that slightly.
Peace, man.
Cheers, dude. C's got that little bit of funk, like it's like a kind of perfumey funk that sometimes you notice in sample bottles, which is what makes me think it's got to be one of the samples. But it's got a little bit of a perfuminess to it. Pretty balanced. I'm going to go back to B real quick, just to kind of close these two out. B's rich, chewy.
Still team B.
B is rich and chewy and got all types of oak and rich flavors going on. I'm going to say that B. I'm going to say my B is my winner.
Okay.
Followed by C and then A. So B, what is this on the bottom? B is my juniorless stag pick.
Good for you.
This one is the one that's labeled 2 on the bottom, which means it is the Stag 15.
You like Stag better than the Taylor.
Oh, 100%. Someone who's paying attention now, this is important to me, maybe not you. Someone who is paying attention to this chat is the sample that I said was really thin and just spiced, because if you remember when I tasted, this is part of the reason why Dan was sending this, because some people really love this year's E.H. Taylor. And do you remember me saying that I tried it at Evergreen and I said it tasted no better than a Russell's pick? It had spice, but then it was thin. And so, if so, then this is just kind of continuing to me in that same vein as just being kind of hot and spicy and nothing else.
All right. But
Johnny 5, I think it's to be said, this Middle West spirit pick doesn't exist. And so I couldn't tell you what
that's not true. It does exist. It's right here, and it's in Washington, D.C. And if you're on Patreon, you're going to get it.
A is the clear loser. E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof is the clear loser. Very clear. True. Drew, try them again next to each other.
Yeah, I've got them right here. I eliminated the other. I removed the others so that I can just taste these guys. Okay. So first, E.H. Taylor. I mean, when I picked this one up, I was like, oh, the nose. I like the nose. It's sweet. It's nougaty. It is spicy for sure. And I think what you said about Russell's, you could mistake it for a Russell's nose. I'll say that. But I think Russell's has a fantastic nose generally.
Gosh, this Stag pick's very good.
It's really sweet. It's brown sugary.
Nope.
Oh, did we get the same sample, Brian?
Agree to disagree.
I've got more I can pour. Maybe you mixed yours up. Because what you were saying about A reminded me of what I was saying.
Drew, I might be brokenhearted, but I'm not drunk. All right.
You said you were drinking since 6:30 this morning.
I have been excessively. Coffee.
The Stagg Jr. I get maybe a little more grape, a little more bubblegum, but it erupts in my mouth. It's like this numbing sensation, and it's dry and hot as balls. It doesn't have the sweetness, the viscosity that the H. Taylor has. And you had chicken teriyaki. I had, just for the record, these are tastings after I had tortellini and a beer, and you had chicken teriyaki.
To be fair, there's no teriyaki flavor. I get chicken teriyaki on a stick because it's literally a neutral, like roasted chicken on a stick. No, there's no sauce on it. It's just they just call it chicken teriyaki. It's neutral. It's chicken. It's chicken on a stick. Maybe it was marinated in it. Hey, really quick, highlight. Hey, stop! There's a Four Roses comment. I've got to address it. Will you highlight this Cade comment real quick?
Yeah.
So Cade, really intriguing question here. And so I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but not been a fan of Four Roses. I'm gonna assume small batch or the standard single barrel. Prefers Elijah Craig. Is it worth continuing to explore roses? I will say, Cade, if you are an Elijah Craig fan, I'm sorry, I won't say if you're an Elijah Craig fan, you won't. You'll likely not find many Four Roses that will taste like Elijah Craig.
I'll correct. Say that. Yeah, I'm a fan.
I will.
But you're correct.
But here's what I will say. And we did a stream on this recently. If you want to go back a couple, try and find the one we talked about Four Roses on. But I talk about Four Roses stuff all day long. And so when it comes to the base products that you can get off the shelf from Four Roses, you will not find a product on the shelf easily that's going to pique your interest. From their batch products that they put on there, or it sounds like if you don't like the single barrel, which is one recipe, it's OBSV. If you're not a fan of that, then what's mainly on the shelf is not going to be something you enjoy. And unfortunately, my suggestion is that when you start to get into some of the single barrels, some of the recipes have very differing flavors, but only in the barrel strength single barrels. If that's not accessible to you and at the price point that they're at is not something you want to take a risk in, Four Roses is probably going to be a brand you're going to want to stay away from. If you have the opportunity to try some picks at a bar or some friends or something, you might be able to try one of the products that kind of change your mind a little bit. But if you're not like kind of at least a little bit interested in Four Roses and you don't have the picks accessible to you, it's going to be pretty difficult to get into the brand, I think.
Cool. Thanks for answering that. I find the heat of this Stag just impressive. I think it's dry and it's hot. I see why.
I find the loss of the Kentucky Wildcats oppressive, but I'm still making it, dude.
So yeah, I'm team. I'm definitely team H. Taylor barrel proof out of these two. But I see why, particularly not that you're proof junkie, you are not. So let me be clear. But I see why people who may really, really dig the most intense, bold, high-proof whiskeys, why they would really dig Stag 15. So I see what people like about it. But for me, I wanna like revel in that sucker. I want to get all up in there and hang out for a while. And this one is just like, it just slaps you. It's just constantly beating on you. I'm not into BDSM. It's not for me. This is the BDSM of bourbon. Whereas the EH Taylor barrel proof was a little bit more. I felt like I could cuddle with this one a little more. Yeah. Any other parting thoughts, Brian? Maybe some innuendos you want to drop?
No, I'm setting my ways.
All right, no problem. Now we have to try and collaborate though, and that might be tough coming off a disagreement.
Kate, I think I might have to. We could chat off this if you want to hit me up on Instagram at Abandoned Bourbon, just like you see on here. I'd be curious to hear what flavor, like what is it about it that you don't like, and that will help me figure out if I can find a direction for you to go in regards to the picks or something like that you might like. So yeah.
All right. So now what are we doing? We're at 9:17. We took a little while on that. That's fine. We'll press on. A coworker texted me and asked if I could fill in for them at like 6 o'clock for a thing tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be really hard for me to do because
I can. I'm with
I'll be
Nation
camping out at Four Roses in the morning.
to get more of this particular single barrel.
Well, today they did. So if you're in the Mellow Moments Club, if you've been able to make it in there, or anyone who's able to make it in there, they did their first private barrel selection solely for Mellow Moments members. So they sent out a lottery to get in, and 10 people got a chance to go and pick barrels.
Not
and
me.
tomorrow
Not
they
it.
will be for sale. So I'm gonna go. After the stream, I'm gonna go shower. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna wake up, and I'm gonna go to Four Roses.
Okay, so let's power through this then. We got 45 minutes. We're gonna hit it hard. We have 5 samples.
Hey, real quick, if anyone in the chat, if you all have tried Stagg Jr. Batch 15 or EH Taylor Barrel Proof, which would you say is the winner? Who is more right? Neither of us is right. We're both right in our own ways, and we're both wrong in our own ways, and that's just life. But Drew and I have a predicament. He says that it's EH Taylor. I say that it's Stagg Jr., and I want to know what your thoughts are. Hi, Cuts, how do I sit down with you, do a coffee tasting, man? Just shoot me a line. Let me know what you want to do. Let's taste.
Yeah, I'll join you guys.
So I need to open my other package, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So we have, I'll read this. Porkins, thank you for sponsoring the content. You're swell, dude. You each have 5 samples. They are all bourbon. Only one of the samples is from a legacy distillery, i.e. Beam, Heaven Hill, Wild Turkey, MGP, blah, blah, blah. The other 4 are from craft/non-legacy distilleries. You have the same samples, but your order is different. You have 2 jobs. You have 2 jobs. Identify the matches.
Can't even do my one job, right?
So match them up and figure out which whiskey is from a traditional distillery. I think I'm going to start there as I taste these 5. And I'm going to try and identify which one is from a traditional distillery and work backwards from there. So what we're going to have to do, Brian, I think, is articulate these. We're going to have to estimate these and say, like, what is going on here and describe them and then try and triangulate in.
Yeah.
So I think we should do it.
Something?
I think we should do it like we did last time, where one of us tastes and articulates our way through it, and then the other one tastes and articulates the way through it, and then we try and talk about which. Oh, it sounded like when you said this, I was tasting this and that and the other.
Get a pencil. Okay, I got a pencil. I had paper.
So I felt like that system worked. We just missed last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to put some water in this one.
So I'm going from right to left. I think from your left to right. Yes, left to your left. Can
we just talk about how much better that Stagg Jr. though was over the EHTB Barrel Proof for a minute while we get set up?
No. Oops. I mean,
no.
We're drinking bangers, and sometimes when you're drinking banger next to banger, it's like, oh, this is a lot of bangers.
Oh, dude. Bad news bears, man. Bad news bears. One of my samples is shattered. So,
which one?
Well,
Porkins, what should we do?
Well, hold on, because I mean, all my other samples are in this bag covered in broken glass. So, give me a second.
So you can just strain it and drink.
Well, you're right, but I'm gonna have to get off air in order to do that, and I have to wash them all off of glass before I pour them in. Can you give me?
Should we?
Can you just give me a?
I can give you a second.
You think I'm just gonna wait on this right here? It's sitting inside of a plastic vac seal bag, dude. Can you just give me like? Can you just give me 2 minutes to go off air for a second?
As much time as you need.
Okay, just give me 1 second.
That's not great. I've never had somebody send me a sample that went snafu-fooey. That's a bummer. I did just pour the sample into the wrong glass. So let's do this. Guys, I mentioned in the last stream, I think I bottle popped this Hezekiah Crane. And I need to go pick up. I did reserve a bottle of this. I haven't paid for it yet, so I've held true. But I need to see how long the liquor store will hold one. I found one in Wisconsin. Liquor store's holding it. This 14-year-old, it's supposed to be like oaky light whiskey. And gosh, it's ridiculous. I keep going back to it, and I just want to drink more and more. This is astonishingly good. Doesn't taste like bourbon, but it's very, very good whiskey. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. Very high props. That's a Cat's Eye product that they did for somebody under this Hezekiah Crane brand. Really weird deal, but really good whiskey.
Sorry.
And then when I was on vacation,
One more second. I don't have any coffee filters in the house, so I'm trying to find something to go through.
wait, how do you not have coffee filters? How's that even possible? One other thing on vacation, I mentioned I was drinking. I kind of poured some samples that I don't drink a lot at home. Good stuff, because I don't really keep bad whiskey around. But what did I take? I took some Old Forester. This barrel pick, Kyle Ramage has had some of this. This is a very banana forward Old Forester pick, but it's actually really good. So I enjoyed that, but I haven't been drinking a lot of it. I've had that one for quite some time now. I took some Elijah Craig Rye. I took Knob Creek Cast Strength Rye Batch 1. I took one other one. What did I take? What was the other one? What did I have? Oh, Maker's FAE 01. So out of all those, that Old Forester probably did it for me the most. Those were just like 2.5 ounce, maybe 3 ounce samples. Again, my father-in-law was drinking with me. And then I went and picked up some Buffalo Trace 50 milliliter minis. That's what I drank. And gosh, I mean, standard Buffalo Trace, well, not very bourbony, not funky, not nutty. Like it sort of lacks the oomph that I like in a good bourbon. It's good. I would put Buffalo Trace stuff kind of in its own category until it gets above like 9 years old. Like Stagg Jr. is definitely bourbon, but it still is not as nutty funky as so many others, or spicy as like an MGP. It's not nutty like a Beam or Heaven Hill. It's not funky like Wild Turkey. It's on its own level, not a higher level, but a different level. But gosh, it's good. I kind of sleep on regular Buffalo Trace now because I'm like, whatever. But it hits. I mean, if you're in Arizona, you're by the pool, or you're chipping on the putting green at your Airbnb, which was sick. It's definitely a solid week. A little Buffalo Trace pour. Hits. Just waiting on Brian now. Trying to think of other stuff that you guys might want to hear about. If you got questions, holla at your boy. Tight Cuts. Drew, what about that Nashville rum? I don't know what you're talking about. Tight. What are we talking about, Tight? Also, Tight. I got a haircut today. That mid fade I like, leaving some volume on top. Let it wave. At some point, I'll have you give me a haircut. That'll be fun. Where are you at though? It's like whenever I visit wherever you are, I'll have you cut my hair. That'll be sick. But Nashville rum, I'm not sure exactly what you're referencing. Johnny 5 referencing Love Face. Not sure why. I haven't been following the chat as closely as I probably should. So I'd love to get the backstory on that. But look at all that coffee equipment, but no coffee filters. It seems it's suspect. Maybe it's all for show. Maybe he's posturing. Maybe he wants to be considered a coffee enthusiast, coffee professional. Maybe it's all an act. Maybe he works at a gas station. No, nothing against gas stations, but it's not a coffee shop. It could be. Could be. Johnny 5, vacation golf talk time. Yes, absolutely. So I was not striking the ball well whatsoever in the 2 weeks leading up to this trip. It's easy for me to get the shanks. That's my miss. I had taken some lessons about a year ago, and then I had a baby. Haven't taken lessons. So I went and took a lesson before I went. It was really, really helpful for sure. My first round, I was hit or miss. I had a couple blow-up holes, shot 92. But I have a friend down in Scottsdale. It was great time with a friend, so it was fine. Second day, which was like 3 days later, I shot 85, which for me is pretty good. My best ever on a par 72, not a dog track was 84. So 85, really solid round for me. And I feel confident now. Like I feel like I've got something to build off of. And I'm actually going to take a few more lessons here as we get into the golf season because I really want to. I'd love to break 80 this year. Really want to break 80. Okay. Golf courses I played for the reference. 2 resort courses on the cheaper end. Nothing is cheap in Scottsdale. It's way overpriced. But I played McCormick Ranch, the Pine Course, and I played Orange Tree. Yeah. Okay. Did you get all the glass out, Brian?
Probably not, but I got as much as I could. So, yeah, and maybe, Drew, since I got my earbud in, maybe some people don't have filters because they forgot to bring some more home from work because they haven't had a chance to in between buying new cars twice, taking animals to the vet, and taking their daughter to the hospital. Maybe they haven't had time to do stuff like that. Maybe they haven't had time to remember to bring filters home. So maybe they couldn't. Maybe I was too busy getting my hands cut open, trying to find a metal filter for my Chemex so that I could pour these.
That's probably what it was.
No way, dude. I don't order that stuff on Amazon. I don't have.
Ain't nobody
going to give the Chinese my information.
Friggin' Russians.
Yeah, I bought 2 cars in 1 week last week, so it was a great week.
Yeah, that's tough. So you had 2 that ate it, or what was the story there?
No, we bought 1, and then an immediate recall came out for it that their batteries were catching fire and exploding.
Nice.
And so we took it back because, when you have a family vehicle, not exactly something that you want to have to wait around for a solution for.
Correct.
So we ended up with another one, which is fine, but it just took up a lot of time.
Yeah. What'd you end up with? What's the final vehicle?
Nashville rum, like Nashville Barrel Company rum. I know the dude's a Nashville Barrel Company. That's all I really know, but I've not tried the rum myself. Ended up with 2019 Honda Odyssey.
Sick. We got to get a minivan now. Like my lease is up on our SUV, which we
don't get a Chrysler.
God, I wouldn't plan on it. Generally,
that's what we did end up getting the first time. It was an electric hybrid. It was an electric hybrid.
Oh, wow.
And then we found out that the batteries in the electric hybrids from the year that we got it from are have a recall about them because they're exploding. So they say, well, you can't charge it, and don't park it in a garage, and don't park it near a building.
Don't let kids in it. You probably shouldn't drive.
So
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right.
Okay.
So last time I tasted
it was my sample 5. It was my sample 5 that I'm gonna be the most risky with. I double filtered it, but I mean, just know everyone that I'm gonna be cutting my insides open trying to guess this for you. So might take it lightly.
You go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna write down notes as you talk, and then
okay. On nosing or on taste or both?
Go hard. Do the whole 9 yards.
Peyton. So the thing is, though, the joke, just don't park it at. Surprisingly, the thing about it that was most concerning is like it doesn't actually matter if it is charged in, or if it's charging or not charging, on or off. Irrelevant. Just they might catch fire. So that's the most concerning part. It's not like something that happens only when it's charging. No, it could just happen. It can just happen because you own it. So we had to get with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to my sample B1. Okay. Do you want me to nose them all and then taste them? Sorry, say that one more time. How you want me to proceed?
Yeah, now I want you to nose and taste, and I'm going to take notes while you just describe, and then you take notes while I describe, and then we'll try and figure out which one sounds similar.
Light chew for number 5. Thanks, Johnny. Looking out for me. I like it. Okay. Let's go ahead and go. We'll start with a B1. So B1. Oh man, I'm so just discouraged from the Kentucky loss. I think I lost all my senses. Went to get my Odyssey many years ago. Salesman said, this is the fastest 0 to 60 minute man. I literally told him. That's so funny. This is tricky because right away it smells like an Elijah Craig. It's got that nutty, fruity profile. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. That
I know.
creamy,
I know what you're talking about.
creamy peanut butter fruit
Okay.
on the palate. A little citrus.
On the palate or on the nose?
On the nose. Let's go ahead. You want me to go ahead and go to the palate?
Do whatever you want to do. But I'm just taking notes. You correct. No, I'm just, I'm writing down what you're saying.
Oh, man. Palate B stays like a peachy, like cherry fruitiness, but does not carry the same nuttiness. It tastes a little younger. It tastes like I would say it tastes more in like the pinhook type of profile. Okay. If you know what I mean by saying that, the pinhook type profile. So that or if you had the Blue Run spirits type stuff, it's in that kind of peachy, sweet category.
Oh, so we need to wrench.
It just tastes like peach. It tastes like peach candy. Honestly, peach
Porkins
candy with a little bit of heat.
Porkins is. We talked about this like later or something after Porkins had to leave or something one day. But yeah, Porkins, no, we're gonna make you a permanent wrench because like obviously you should be a wrench on this channel. So let me do that, and then you can post a thing here that people can follow along.
Dude, I will just say for the record, I like this profile. It's fun.
Wrenched. You like it. So one, you're like young, but you like it.
Yeah, I mean, it tastes like it's probably 3 or 4 years old. It's not out of balance. It has a little bit of heat, meaning it's probably like in the 1 teens proof. But it tastes like peach candy. That's pretty right on to me.
So sweet,
or I will say, even if you were to taste it and you don't get that peach candy note, this is the whiskey that I'll always remark has the peach candy note because it's pretty prominent. So,
okay, all right. So Porkins just posted. Brian and I will not click this, but if you want to follow along with what we're tasting, click that link. All right, Brian, that's whiskey number 1. Go to number 2.
Yep, whiskey number 2. Ooh, this smells like vanilla.
I'm gonna help us go. I've got a timer here, so I'm gonna help us go. We've got each however many minutes this is. 5 minutes per whiskey.
Number 2 is creamy. A lot of vanilla. Lots of vanilla. Lots more vanilla. With a dollop of brown sugar and fruitiness.
Big vanilla guy. So this sounds very legacy.
Oh, yummy. It still has it's a candied citrus. With kind of tastes like a rye. It tastes like I would say this is like I'd probably say it's Nashville Barrel Company rye, so it kind of tastes like a barely legal.
Well, it's all bourbon. All these are bourbon for the record. So
what I'm telling you is, like, if you were to tell me this is Nulu bourbon or something like that, it has that kind of MGP profile to me, with some candied citrus and vanilla. I mean, and honestly, so if you should note that down too. It's something that if it tastes like a barely legal rye, it's this one. Okay. Let's go to B3.
Okay.
This is a little bit creamier
than number 2, which you said was creamy.
Than either of them, really.
Okay.
Like I almost wanted to say more malty. It kind of is malt forward, but like it's not. That's just the first thing that came to my mind, is like creamy in a higher malt sort of way, but it's not overly malty. Okay, I'm just gonna go into the palate because that's really all I get. There's like a little bit of elegant spice, but it's basically just creamy.
Okay.
On the palate. Wow, that also kind of tastes like MGP. Honey, a little bit of a dry finish. Also has some citrus. Chewy.
Creamy
Whereas-
and chewy.
Huh?
It's chewy and dry.
It's got a dry finish. It's a chewy body.
Okay.
B is shorter than it. So keep in mind that barely legal rye comment.
Yeah.
B is definitely a little bit shorter.
Okay.
B2, B3 is chewier, but it does have a little bit of a dry finish. Let's go to B4. Oh, B4 smells like, compared to the others, it smells like a like chocolate pudding, like vanilla pudding. Like it. Did you ever have pudding pops?
Of course.
Dude, it smells like a pudding pop. It's got that like kind of fake vanilla sweetened chocolate ice cream.
Huh.
It's funky. So yeah, it's funky. I like that. I don't really know what else to put on it right now. It just kind of funky and reminds me of chocolate pudding pop. Okay. Ooh, it tastes like graham cracker. I'm trying to describe notes for Drew, so I'm trying not to think about what it could be. I'm trying to just
sure. I do want you to
flavors
call
first.
out the one you think is legacy. I want you to put a big star on that and say, I think this one is the legacy one.
All right. Four just tastes like graham cracker. It tastes like a Starlight French oak finish something.
Got
like
it.
it's
I
got.
know what that tastes like. I hear you. I'm here for that. I'm gonna write that down.
Let's move on to
Starlight.
B5. I'm trying to be quick and specific.
Yeah, good. Because we don't have that much time.
B5 is, man, compared to the others, not really discerning on the nose. Kind of, it's not really grainy in a hot grain way, but it kind of is. It's kind of the most grainy of them all. Grainy, maybe a little nougaty. Let's go on the palate. Maybe they'll tell more.
Okay, grainy and nougaty.
Huh. It's like funky peanut butter.
That's not good. That's a very legacy note.
Yeah, I mean I will say it has a je ne sais quoi to it that seems like even products that could be rougher, like even if it was a lower bottom shelf pour, there's still a finesse about it. Some things it kind of tastes like it's got some of that, but I might be reading into it too much. I'm also trying to look to see if it has anything bad in it. It's got a funky peanut nose, peanut note, nose nut.
Je ne sais quoi. I don't know what je ne sais quoi tastes like, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, dude, this one just tastes like peanuts. It just tastes like peanuts.
Okay.
Okay.
5 is big peanut. So which one are you calling out as legacy then? Big peanut.
I'm gonna say. Damn it. I'm gonna say 5, just for succinctness of not going back and tasting everything again. I'm gonna say 5.
Well, you're welcome to go back and taste while I taste, and then
Okay.
change if you need to change your answer.
I don't have any more 5, so let's hope it's not that one.
All right, here we go. D1, the Mighty Ducks.
You have D1. Oh, for Drew.
Yeah. This is light. It's light, citrusy, herbaceous.
If it's herbaceous, okay. I'm not gonna talk. Sorry.
No, yeah. So I'm trying not to read yours. I'm like, let me assess it, and then I'll try and compare it to yours. But this is citrusy for sure. It's light and it's citrusy.
If you want to, just go ahead and do your tasting, and then we'll try and talk together to compare notes.
Okay. Light, citrusy, not really grainy, but young. Like I don't get fresh baked bread, but I get kind of a pithy bitterness. And if you could convince me this was a rye,
Okay, I'm going to assume this is the same thing as B2 because, like I said, the reason I said it tastes like Nashville Barrel Company because where I was going with that is it tastes like the Nashville Barrel Company small batch, which is 100%, which is going to be lighter than some of these other tastes.
So if this tastes like something you described, it was your number 2. So
correct. Citrus and herbal. Yep.
Yeah. Number 2. Here we go. L'Chaim. D2, the Mighty Ducks return. This is the one where they went to prep school. No, that was D3. This is the one where they played the Junior Goodwill Games. Here we go. Much sweeter on the nose. It's more enticing, more viscous.
Oh, Jordan's pegged me. Jordan's pegged me with my my duck slapping
your
lips.
quaff. Yeah. Pure vanilla, that cream.
Sorry, Jordan. If you're new to the channel, you have to get used to it. It's just a thing I can't.
It was pronounced in the speakers though. Like it was wafting. Like you were aggressive.
I'm sorry, guys. I really try not to. I watched I started watching the videos for that one dude Ryan. If you've ever seen him, he like puts the glass down and he slams the bottle down. He's staring at the camera the whole time and he pours it. He slaps the cork back on. He holds it up and he tastes it. This dude, he tastes it and he does this. He goes. And I'm always wondering where the bourbon went because he just puts it in his mouth and he never drinks it. Anyway, keep going.
So this one is sweet. It is reminiscent of a wheated.
Okay.
It is kind of French oaky.
Let's go. We already got it lined up. Move to the next one.
Baking spice.
Mm-hmm.
More baking spice, not herbaceous spice. It's not herbaceous at all. So it's sweet. Baking spice. Let me hit it again.
Yeah, Jordan. So here's the weird thing. I think it's about me specifically. My wife gets on me all the time about doing this. So when I taste coffee, when we cup coffee, and we do this thing called cupping coffee, and that's to analyze coffee samples back to back to back. We normally slurp it, and then in order to move it around in the mouth, I'll toss it back and forth on the palate. So I will chomp on it like that. You know, one of the other industries that I was really big in was chocolate. And with chocolate, you know, you're eating a physical thick piece of chocolate and you're trying to get it to melt on your mouth and you're actually chewing it at the same time. I think it's just a combination for all things about like what Andrew's saying, aeration, as well as actually just like breaking down whatever it is. For some reason, whenever I taste, I don't even think about it. That's just how I basically eat the bourbon.
Yeah.
And it's dumb. And that's just a thing that I've had people say I'm unfollowing your channel because I can't watch you chew. And I can't. I try and edit it out so much, but I talk and then I'll do it and then I'll talk some more.
Dude, just embrace it. Just embrace it.
Yeah, I try to,
I
mean, but it's
like
tough.
on these streams, you do your quaffing and I do this face elongation thing. Like
okay, so I'm going to assume that this one's mapping with B4 based on what you're saying because it's the most French oaky we did. Okay, keep going.
Correct. All right. 3 is a little more youthful. Like I get a little fresh baked bread on the nose. So
yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. Hold on. Well, you can tell me what you think. Hold on. Still getting some Alfredo sauce when I burp.
JL, I love how you call it a turkey chew all the time. It makes my heart happy so much. Andrew Beck, I'm sorry to hear that too. I don't know if I don't know how the allergies go. Like there's one person a guy who used to work with us, he is not allergic to like drinking coffee. He works in coffee, has for a long time, but he is allergic to raw coffee beans. So like the cherry, the actual fruit of coffee, he's allergic to. So whenever we do what's called cascara, which is the pulp that surrounds the beans of coffee, like he can't be around in the roastery when that's out because he's allergic to it. The reason I ask is because when I go to this farm in Colombia in April, they also have a cacao farm and we're staying on the cacao farm while we're there. And so I'm super jazzed because I've been to coffee farms before, but I've yet to go to a cacao farm. So I get to hit 2 in 1.
We lost you for like half of that.
Oh,
like cacao farm, and then we lost you. All right, man, well, let's focus. Let's focus. It's 9:47 already. Okay. So 3 is bad. It's not good. It's really light. It's grainy. It's white peppery. It's hot. It tastes like underage distillate.
It's 1, man. It's B1.
I didn't get anything Elijah Craigie though.
Well, remember, 1 was the one that I only got on the nose.
Yeah.
That it reminded me of Elijah Craig. On the palate,
Okay.
It's what I call, I get the white pepper. It's like white pepper, but in peach candies.
I see that. I mean, but it's clearly hella young. I get why you would say like a stone fruit. I hope we're right. This is going to be embarrassing if we're wrong again. But okay, but generally, I think you're right. I think 1 probably is most reminiscent based on your description. Okay, D4. So real quick though, D3 was the one where they go to prep school. So D1, Mighty Ducks. That's their Pee-wee. D2, Junior Goodwill Games. D3, prep school. D4 is this weird Netflix series with the chick from Gilmore Girls, which I have not watched. Seems like a travesty to me, but shout out Emilio Estevez. All right, D4.
Logan said he heard all about the cacao farm, so maybe your audio cut out.
I mean, yeah, that could have been. Okay. This is weird. So we've Okay. Focus up. Got some palate fatigue here. D4 was kind of that pudding. D4 was more puddingy to me. Similar to your B4. Yeah. So your description, the chocolate pudding, pudding pop, graham cracker, fake vanilla, that is very similar to what I'm tasting. Let me go back to 2, which I said.
Which is the one that I said was pudding pop?
4.
B4. Oh, which is weird because that's the one that I was saying was like a weeder, which I thought might be your D2.
Yeah, so 4 to me is very similar to like chocolate pudding in those plastic cans.
Hold on 1 second, buddy. Hold on 1 second. Hold on one.
Oh yeah, no, take your time.
My son woke up.
First.
You want me to get the
Hey buddy,
the new Mario Kart courses?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, bud. Good night. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll take care of getting those new Mario Kart courses for you. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has a DLC that starts tomorrow, and they're redoing 48 old courses to double the amount of courses that exist in the Mario Kart over the next 2 years. And so the first round of courses comes out tomorrow for downloadable content, and they're real excited to play.
So D4, Brian, tastes a lot like your B4. I think it's very chocolate pudding.
Chocolate pudding.
Yeah, like excessively chocolate pudding. I'm gonna come back to D2 because I said baking spice could be weeded, but it's leaning more spicy now than D4.
My throat kind of hurts, and I'm pretty sure I've swallowed glass. So let's keep going. I will say B3. If you told me B3 was a weeder, I wouldn't be surprised too.
Okay, then your B3 could be my D2. But the pudding note is pronounced in 4. It is remarkable.
Okay, I erased that line, so let's keep going.
Okay. So I'm just writing chocolate pudding on D4 because that is accurate.
Okay.
Okay, D5. This is the one that hasn't been made yet. The one where they're all old. This is the retirement home. They're playing hockey in the retirement home.
Yeah, dude. My B4 is straight up chocolate pudding.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So 5 was the one you thought was legacy. nutty. I haven't tasted anything that was like hella nutty or I thought was legacy yet. So we'll have to make another pass.
That's right, Tom.
Gosh, these are so young. Young. Not really spicy. Like, okay, hold on. So what's on the table? B3.
Well, I've got a lot of stuff on my table.
This is not, my 5 is not your 5. That's
Okay.
clear.
Okay.
Because it's not peanutty.
Okay.
So could it be B3? Creamier, MGP, chewy, maybe elegant spice, honey, dry. It could very well be that. Hold on, let me.
What's the most chewy pour you have?
Is that what you think 3 is?
Yeah.
I ain't over here. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But let me just describe 5. Let's start there.
Dude, I won't lie. If you were to say, even where we talked about D3, and you said D3 is peppery, I mean, that could kind of lean towards my B5 also. But
so 2 and 5 to me are pretty similar.
You're 2 and 5?
2's a little more herbaceous.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas 5 is very vanilla forward. Yeah, 2 is.
What's the one that I said was super vanilla-y?
I'm getting there. That's your 2. But I think my 5 might be your 3, MGP. But 2, God dang, this is awful. We're going in circles here. All right, let's get back to this 5 description.
I would say my 2 and my 3 tasted very similar. Remember? You remember me getting catch up? I thought they both kind of tasted like MGP. One tasted more like a rye. The other one tasted rye-like, but was chewier and sweeter.
Okay. So if you're going to ask, gosh, I put 1 as a rye, though, because we aligned my 1 to your 2 because it was citrusy.
Yes.
5 is not. 5 to me is not rye forward. It's sweet. It's chill. It's fine. It's young. Not legacy. Let me zip through one more time. Are you still holding on to 5 as your nutty legacy? Is that what you're saying?
5 to me, man, you're gonna make me drink this whole glass-filled sample.
I know, dude. Gosh.
So it's got this grainy, nougaty, maybe slightly peppery nose, but on the palate,
grainy, nougaty, peppery is not nutty.
it tastes like funky peanut butter, dude.
Okay. All right. Peanut butter. I'm gonna look for peanut butter.
It lingers mostly with that peanut butter.
Okay. I like 1. It's that rye forward citrus kind of pithy bitterness, but it's good. You said 2, creamy vanilla, yummy citrus candy, brown sugar, rye-ish. I think that's probably a good adjacency. I think my 1 and your 2 seem to be really similar.
Okay, so let's mark those out. Keep moving on.
Right. Yep. 2. My 2. I said baking spice sweet could be a weeder, but then I thought it was more herbaceous than 4. So revisiting. Yeah, I mean, it's not crazy herbaceous, not crazy spicy, but could be rye. But it's not very rye. It's not very herbaceous. I might have.
Dude, I think it might be 3. I think your 2 might be my 3.
Would you say
creamy? Does your 2 taste like a sweeter, creamier version of your 1? If not, then no, we'll keep going.
No, I could definitely see that, Brian. I could definitely see that. So let's say my 2 is your 3 for now.
Okay.
Okay. This is really fun. It's really difficult.
Four is the one. Four is the
activity.
one that I would have said is a weeder, but you're the one who. But you said it because of the graham cracker note. But you said there's a different one that matches that French oak chocolate pudding thing more.
That one to me was number 2. But for my 4, so let's go to my 3. But my 4, it felt like matched your 4. Big chocolate pudding. Big.
Well, there's only one that's like that, so that has to be the same.
I think so. But let's talk about 3 for a minute. So I'm going to taste 3.
That's when you said it's peppery.
Super light. Super light. I mean, like, very, very, very light. Hot, underaged. Maybe some stone fruit. Maybe.
That's my 5.
But it's not nutty.
It's my 5.
But you put grainy nut. You thought 5 was your legacy.
But my 1 is pretty hot. So our 5 and 1 have to be similar.
So wait. What do you mean?
I'm sorry. My 5 and your 3 have to be similar. So your D5 ideally would be a little hot and youthful on the palate and kind of tastes like peach candy.
No, that's to me what 3 is. My 3 is that. It's hot as balls and it kind of is a little stone fruity.
Okay, then 3 and 1, yes.
Okay.
So which would mean that your 5 would have to be my 5.
Which it could be. Because then
which is the one that's kind of grainy and kind of nougaty with a funky peanut butter.
5s would then be the same. Because I put young vanilla, straightforward, not rye on 5.
Correct. So our 4s and 5s would have to be the same.
Okay. Describe your 5 for me.
My 5 is a little light on the nose, and it's a little weird on the nose. It's kind of grainy and nougaty on the nose.
Okay.
On the palate.
I see this now. I think our 4s.
The palate's kind of it tastes like. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone told me this is just Elijah Craig small batch. I wouldn't be surprised if someone told me this is Evan Williams white label. I wouldn't be surprised if someone told me it was Evan Williams black label.
All right. Yeah. No, I think we're good. I'm willing to commit to this because 4 is so chocolate pudding. It's unbelievable.
We're gonna be so off again tonight.
I know. I know.
My 5 tastes like my insides are being split open right now by something inside of it cutting it open.
Oh, come on, Brian. All right. Let me taste 5 one more time. I've had too much. I gotta own that. So
are we also then guessing what we think they are or no? And are we saying what we have to guess
which one is legacy? You thought 5 was legacy, and I need to pass through one more time and decide which one in my mind is legacy. But I could see 5 being legacy for sure. Yeah, I think the Heaven Hill category is probably like a young, like Evan Williams Black.
The comments are vicious tonight, and I love it.
I think 5 very well could be at Heaven Hill. Like a Evan Williams Black. So let's go with that.
It's going to be in something stupid like
let's say. So this is what we're going to do. My 1 is your 2. My 2 is your 3.
Whoa. Yes, keep going.
Yeah. My 3 is your 1. My 4 is your 4, and my 5 is your 5.
Yes.
And then 5 is the legacy. And
that's what I say.
All right, let's open it because it's 10:02 and we're not going to drag this sucker out. But again, shout out Porkins. Like, absolute stud. And the bad thing is they already know and they're just being quiet.
I know.
All right. My number 1, you need to open yours. Are you looking at yours?
Mhm.
My number 1 is Wilderness Trail. 118 proof, 4 years, 4 months, malted barley, total wine pick.
And we said that matched up with my B2.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Dang.
My B2 is Wilderness Trail Bourbon 118 proof, 4 years, 4 months.
That's the same thing. We're
I
matched
know.
up. Oh, okay. Why are you doing this to me?
More suspense.
Freaking nailed it, dude. I'm stoked on that. Like, I'm high on life right now. All right, number 2. My number 2 said baking spice sweet, could be weeded, was my initial. But then I'm like, yeah, it's a little herbaceous. My number 2 is Wilderness Trail 112 proof.
Son of a gun.
Brian, would you just tell me what it is?
My number, we said that was my number 3.
That's correct.
My number 3 was Blue Run. Nope, it was Wilderness Trail Bourbon 112 proof. And coincidentally, we said those two tasted similar to one another. At least I did.
Yeah, there's some similarity there. Freaking nailed it. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
And you said it was like a weed, and you said it was like a wheat, and it's a weeder.
I mean, I've tasted a few things in my life.
Right, but we said these two tasted similar to one another, but that the second one was weeded.
I wrote on my thing. You can read it. It says weeded. But
okay, well, it's 2 for 2. Keep going.
Number 3, I said light white pepper hot underage. I didn't like it, and shout out to your boys, but I didn't like it very much. Pursuit Series, episode 43, Woodinville Straight Bourbon, 121 proof.
I also had my number 1 as Pursuit Series, episode 43, Woodinville Straight Bourbon, which was the hottest of all of them, which we both commented on.
So here's where it gets weird, though. So we're 3 for 3, which is great. And either we're right or we're wrong, but we've already won that we've got 3 of these correct. Number 4, which I said was chocolate pudding. I'm now regretting.
Wait, you said what was chocolate pudding? Oh, we both did 4 on 4.
Yeah, both of our 4s. My 4 is Old Granddad 114.
Your 4 is Old Granddad 114.
Yeah.
Intriguing. My 4, which I said was Graham Crackery French Oaky.
Yeah.
Is the Blue Run High Bourbon.
Yeah. So that's where we missed. Is my 5 is Blue Run.
I mean, we did.
Which Blue Run? That Blue Run High Bourbon.
High rye. I mean, let's be fair.
Short.
Well, let's be fair. We didn't. But because I think I recall saying that my number 5 was Legacy.
You said your 5 was Legacy, and you said it was nutty. That is correct.
Which means my 5 was Beam, Old Granddad, nuttiness. So who's the freaking winner here?
I mean, out of these 2, I would say you. If that's what it was a collaborative effort.
This was super fun, by the way.
I'm thrilled we nailed 3 of them.
Andrew Surfling, the chocolate pudding one was the Blue Run High Rye Bourbon.
Yeah, go figure. Which, for the record, is a Legacy product that's sourced from a Legacy distillery.
Blue Run?
Yeah.
No.
They're not distilling their own stuff.
No, it comes from Bardstown Bourbon Company. You
think this thing here, they got this one from Bardstown? This is a 3-year-old?
The Blue Run High Rye Bourbon? It's their own mash bill. It's 4 years old.
Get out. Are you sure?
I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain that I freaking nailed this, man. I wish we would have gotten the last 2 being close to one another.
Let me tell you what I wrote down. I wrote down for number 5, young, vanilla, straightforward, not rye. but I thought it had enough complexity where it might be legacy. And together, we thought 4 and 5 would match. But to be fair,
Andrew Beck's is Cast on
4...
Key, which is smart. Yeah. Sorry.
To be fair, I thought 4 was more chocolate pudding, where Old Granddad 14 would never be described as chocolate pudding. So I may have stepped over the line. I may have missed it. I mean, I'm pleased with the performance. I'm pleased with how we did. I'm a little bummed. I felt like we were close, but I still feel like
we were close.
I'm going to take that as a win. I feel like that was a journey we wanted.
Bex, tell me what do you think about these, man? What are your thoughts on these? The Wilderness Trails are solid, for sure. And
the Pursuit series,
I'm really curious what your thoughts on this Blue Run are, because this Blue Run is, I tried this product and now I feel like I got to go back and watch my video on it because it tastes kind of different. But I remember thinking that this profile was a little darker toned, like these kind of I don't know. I remember thinking that this was a unique product. I still got the bottle back there, I think. The sample bottle. When this stuff gets to be older, 8, 9 years old, 10 years old, man.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Maybe I'm a Wilderness Trail guy. I'm a believer also, but also a believer in Wilderness Trail, that when they drop some 8-year-old stuff, I'm going to be here for that. No doubt.
These were solid. I think so. The point was to see if Old Granddad can hang with the others, or to see. I mean, so the most expensive one. Okay, would you pay double the OGD price for any of those? That's the question. Because he's right. The Blue Run, right? Isn't the Blue Run like a $90 product?
Dude, I don't know how much it is, but no. The answer is no. I'm not going to pay north of $45 for 5.
Low key, Beck. I think 3 was my favorite.
Which your 3 was my 2. And
I think the Wilderness Trail Weeded was my favorite.
Yeah. I'm here for that. I get that. I would agree with that.
I think the Granddad might have been my second favorite. So, yeah.
So that was a journey. My face is going numb. I gotta go drink some water. It's also fatigue.
So, yeah, I would probably, if anyone actually, because someone said, because of the butterfly. I kind of like the Blue Run. I like the Rye Wilderness Trail over the Weeded, but I get Big Banana on the Weeded. I would say, I'd probably say Weeded, Old Granddad, maybe the Blue Run, the Rye Wilderness, and then the Woodinville. That's my order.
I'll go Weeded, Blue Run, Old Granddad, Unweeded, Wilderness Trail, and then the Pursuit series was the worst one. I love those guys. I love them so much, but that one was not good.
I never drink Old Granddad for 114, and this is solid. I mean maybe it's the shards of glass talking, but it's solid.
Yeah. All right.
But it does.
Hang it up. I got to clean up. I got to go to bed. I got to be up early.
Yeah, I got to be at Four Roses in like 5 hours. So,
all right. Godspeed. Nation, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all. Thanks for the super chats tonight. Generous. Appreciate it very much. Brian's coming up. Do a Driftless Glen. Plick. Gosh. That's a pick from Driftless Glen. April 2nd. And then stay tuned. The Middle West Spirits pick is coming. I know it's,
if it exists.
It definitely exists. It's coming. But yeah.
A reminder, everybody, if you want to contact Drew or I, send a message on Instagram at Drew P Whiskey or at Abandoned Bourbon.
Yeah, definitely the best way to get hold of us. You can also email drewpwhiskey@gmail.com. What's your email, Brian?
Do I have abandonedbourbon@gmail.com? I don't even remember anymore.
You don't.
You can reach out to me. Just reach out to me on Instagram.
Holla at your boy. All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Cheers, everybody.
Keep it neat, okay? Bye now.